Chucky Riley. I love that guy. Yeah, no, it's an honor to be on the show. I mean, what a great show we have tonight. Two of the comics are actually on the show. Recently were finalists in Madison's Funniest Comic. Give it up for that. I'm not going to tell you which two they are. I will tell you one of them is not me. But, I'll get a little serious here for a second. And we do have a problem in Wisconsin. It's a serious problem. It's an alcohol problem. All right? Everybody knows that. I'm sure, I grew up with an alcoholic dad. I'm sure other people here have alcoholic parents. You know an alcoholic? Maybe you yourself are an alcoholic. Either way, you're all welcome in the state of Wisconsin. Yeah, my dad was a good alcoholic, though. He was never coming home and punching me in the stomach and fucking me up. He'd yell a little bit, but that was fine. That meant he loved me. So, in my eyes, alcohol wasn't the problem for my dad. The problem was the house he ran into on the way home from the bowling alley. Yeah, he was drinking and driving, and yes, that is not a good thing to do. I mean, we all know that. But this is an unimportant, actual part of the story, but I feel like I should bring it up. The house he ran into was a Hispanic family's house. Does feel kind of fitting for the room. It's also funny because I kind of like to imagine when my dad is barreling through a T intersection at 40 miles an hour, trying to fit his lifted truck into the front door of a house, that when he enters the living room, I mean, you obviously wake up. I imagine somebody woke up and started screaming in Spanish at him, like, "La choca en mi casa, mierda!" And he just fucking throws in reverse and tries to leave, destroyed. Yeah, no, I'm sure he said strike. I mean, he was leaving a bowling alley. That is kind of just the rules of bowling, though, isn't it? If you hit everything, it's a strike. And if you start counting one beer as one pitcher, you might run into a house. But if there's one thing I learned from this story about my dad, it's that you don't want to live near a bowling alley, or you might become the next Pin. My dad was a great bowler and an even better drinker. He didn't die or quit drinking, but he did quit bowling. Bowling was the problem. I actually worked with my dad. I do carpentry, a bit of the Lord's trabajo, if you will. It's actually funny because Chucky, I've known him for like 5 years. He does tile work, so I'd always see him around, and I never really talked to him. He was had his AirPods in, he's just fucking on his hands and knees putting grout in, and I just never thought to talk to him, and then next thing you know, he's putting me on a fucking show, so that's pretty awesome. Doing a bit of carpentry. I had gotten a call one day at work, and I was working with my dad. Everything's fine with me and my dad. He's totally fine. He was a little injured in the crash, but he made it. He's fine. He's working. And I got a call from the doctor because I had a doctor's appointment coming up, and they were doing some preliminary questions before I went into the doctor. And they started with basic stuff like your fucking height, date of birth, all that shit. But then the questions started getting a little bit more intense. And my dad was near me, about 10 feet away. He could hear it because I put it on speakerphone, and I couldn't back out of that, so I just kept going with it. And the first question they asked me that got me going was, "How many drinks do you have in a week?" And I kind of sat there. I was like, 50, 60? And I'm just assuming my dad is in the background like, "Pussy lightweight." And then the next question they asked me is, do you smoke? And I said, "Well, I do vape." And I know my dad in the background is like, "Pussy." Smoke a fucking cigarette like a man. And then the next question they asked me was, "Are you sexually active?" And I was like, "Oh, this is where I'm gonna save it." I was like, "Of course." And but I kind of got thrown off because right after I answered that question, they fired off, "Boys or girls?" Now, I'm not gonna lie. I had this really weird natural pause because I wasn't expecting that question. So when I responded, girls, instantly I knew my dad was in the back like, wow, I have a gay, vaping, alcoholic son. He did invite me to go bowling though. I think that means he's trying to kill me. Yeah. No, wow. I did grow up, I mean, since we're on the topic of the room, were you raising your hand, sir?
No.
No. If you have a question, you can ask. Maybe it's fitting for the room, though. I did grow up around a couple of Spaniards myself. You know, it's kind of weird, though. It's when I went to play pool with Chucky recently, and we got into the pool house, and I was like, oh, dude, there's some fellow Hispanics. Maybe are they your friends? And he's like, dude, those are Venezuelans. How the fuck would I know? You guys, I mean, it's practically like being Asian. Like, Asians can only tell the different kinds. I mean, I can't tell that. I mean, if you look at a white guy, you're like, oh, that guy's from the Netherlands. Like, nobody fucking knows. But yeah, actually, I took Spanish for 4 years in high school. So I know nothing because it was in high school. And my teacher, she was a ginger white lady, very nice. And there was a couple, I grew up around, like I said, a lot of Spaniards myself, and they also took Spanish. Very easy A for them. I mean, they knew more than the teacher. I also had quite easy A in that class because that teacher, I did like her, and she did get to learn about my home life. And when she found out my dad was crashing in Hispanic houses, she was like, you're good. But, oh, my other joke about Spaniards, what was it? Oh yeah. So you know, you guys got quinceañeras, right? I actually really do want to go to one. They look fun as fuck. So shout out to quinceañeras, but kind of reminds me. You know who else has things like that? Bar mitzvahs, coming of age parties. You guys are like the Jews of the South. Yeah. I'm so glad that one landed. That would have been bad. I would have been leaving.
Well, we got hoodies on our day, definitely.
I don't know if you guys can tell about the way I'm talking about my drunk dad, but my parents are divorced. We got me other divorced kids in here.
Oh, yeah.
That cane runs deep. That's why I got 2 drinks up here.
Go bowling after this.
Oh, I'm going bowling tonight, baby. But yeah, no, my parents divorced twice from each other. Very weird thing. The first time they leave, it's like. The first time you do take it regularly, and you're like, oh, it's all my fault. The family's falling apart because they have kids. They get back together, and you're like, okay, well maybe everything's fine then. The second time they divorce, you're like, these motherfuckers are just crazy. This is not on me. This is all them. And another thing I hear kids with divorced parents talk about is saying, well, look on the bright side. You get 2 Christmases. I mean, maybe if your parents are fucking wealthy. If you got 2 fucking poor divorced parents, you're getting 2 worse Christmases? That don't equal to a quarter of the original one. That's the reality of it. Oh man, if there's one thing I hate more than crashing into houses and divorced parents, switching topics here, it's a real thing. I hate fucking buying lotion, dude. It's really awkward for a guy like me. If you see a guy like me walking through a fucking regular store holding a bottle of lotion, you know I'm not putting it on my elbows. Yeah, no, I recently went on a lotion run. Had to. I played one too many games of Will This Work as Lotion. I mean, I was using any product I could get my hands on. I will tell you one thing you cannot use as lotion. Goes out to everybody. You cannot use toothpaste. That was the line in the fucking sand. But recently when I was going to pick up lotion, I made a fatal fucking mistake. I also decided it would be candle pickup day, so you see me checking out with 4 frozen pizzas, 3 candles, and a bottle of lotion. It was a good night. I think, wow, man, what a great fucking night. We got, am I bringing up the next comic? Okay, I'm not hosting. Well, thank you guys so much. You guys have been awesome. So, I'm gonna get out of here. Woo! So.